Today, I'm joined by JG, who is a French photographer based on Montreal in Canada. Recently, I met him on the street Harajuku, Tokyo, Japan. He is here in Japan until this November for his personal project and doing his commercial photography work here in Japan. I talked to him on the street because he had Mamiya Aussie 67, which is a medium format film camera which I always wanted to experiment and have. But as soon as I looked at his work, I was just so amazed by his beautiful photography. So in this episode, we covered his photography, his process, and how was it look like to changing from stable advertising job, which he worked for 7 years, and shifting to the freelance photographer, which he does as a professional for 3 years. So without further ado, let's dive into the conversation.
Well, my name is Jean-Guillaume.
Jean-Guillaume.
Jean-Guillaume,
Yeah.
it's my full name,
Yeah.
but people call me JG.
JG.
It's easier. Even
Yeah.
for my friends, it's actually easier.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even common in France.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born in France. My parents moved to Canada when I was 18 years old. They moved out of the country just to... They felt maybe France was going into trouble. They were kind of right. So they moved to Canada in 2006 and I started university there. It was the perfect timing. I studied production for cultural stuff, so music, cinema.
Okay.
So it was really a bachelor about production
Mm-hmm.
and management, I would say. At the end of that bachelor, I got an internship in an advertising agency. So I did my internship there. And basically, it was not really what I studied.
Mm-hmm.
But I still, I think I did a good job because they gave me a job. Then I got offered another job at other agency. So basically, I was working in advertising for 7 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And after maybe the second year, I felt that advertising was not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good pay and it was fun projects, but in the end, I could feel that in my heart it's not really what I want to do.
Yeah.
So in 2016 I decided to basically take a year off and pursue a passion I had.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the days my photography was really basic, it was just digital.
Mm-hmm.
I would just take my camera, do some street photography maybe, but it wasn't a way for me to really express myself at that time. And my second passion was fashion,
Okay.
and especially Japanese fashion.
Mm.
So I decided to move in Tokyo,
Mhm.
basically, and I had a project in my mind before I left, where I wanted to take cool portraits of people.
Mm-hmm. On the street.
Yes, on the streets,
Okay.
and try to maybe see, if I could see the subcultures, within clothing. So, like skateboarders, hype beasts,
Mm.
classy people. Well, I didn't do lolitas and all the extremes, but it was mostly about fashion. And which was weird for me because I'm a shy guy,
Mm.
and I'm usually anxious, when I do social stuff. It's always been like that. And funny enough, if you want to shoot portraits, you have to approach people,
Yeah.
obviously. So I took also that trip for me to, in a way, to try to work, on my
Okay.
social skills. So, but yeah, it was, big ideas. I didn't really know where I was going. I didn't speak Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
I did take a bit of classes to at least read like the minimal,
Yeah.
hiragana, katakana, kanji, So I arrived in Tokyo, and I would say maybe at the beginning it was slow because language was really difficult.
Yeah.
Also, I was shooting digitally when I arrived. I did buy, just before I left, a medium format camera, which was a 645. But it was a bit slow, it was a bit heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't shoot a lot with it, but I did enjoy a lot the process
Right.
that it brought.
Right.
So with my digital camera in hand, I arrived right for Fashion Week. So I said, okay, it's a good opportunity to go see stylish people
Mhm.
and shoot.
You mean the
So-
Tokyo Fashion Week?
Yeah, Tokyo
Right.
Fashion Week.
Right.
So it started like the day of my arrival in Tokyo. So like the day after my trip, boom, in the street right away at the Shibuya Hikari
Mhm.
building. And I shot so many pictures in my first week.
Yeah.
I was kind of disgusted almost of taking so many pics and spending all my nights, looking it in my computer,
Mhm.
browsing through 1,000 pictures every day. And it's like, is it really what I want to do, for the next 12 months? So I said, maybe I need to go back to shooting slow.
Mhm.
So I said, okay, I need to buy an analog camera.
Yeah.
And so I did. I bought a Mamiya 7 back
Mhm.
in the days. And with that camera, then I went into the street. And knowing, that it wasn't cheap, the process is slow.
You can only shoot the 10 pictures.
10 pictures per
Right.
roll. So even the way, I was looking at those stylish people, you have a lot of stylish people in Tokyo, but
Right.
then I wanted to take the best because,
Right,
I
you need to
I need to
select.
save, yeah.
Yeah.
So it made me select way more the people. And also, I just even started to feel the confidence
Mhm.
coming in me, with like the pictures I took. It's like, wow, this is actually such a great
Mhm.
medium.
Right.
And like the format of 6.7 is
Mhm.
so different at digital. That's very narrow. So I said, wow, I have a lot of space in my pictures. So that's how it started. And slowly and slowly, I said, wow, that's cool. I actually like photography a lot.
Mhm.
I was starting to feel so happy.
Mhm.
And so basically, I spent maybe 6 months walking the streets almost every day.
Okay.
Just to take pictures of people. And I would take maybe 2 or 3 people on average
In a
every
day.
day.
Yeah.
Sometimes less, sometimes more. So I
Yeah.
think average it was 2 or 3.
Mhm.
And more and more I felt that I was getting better. And in my head I was starting to see and notice stuff, obviously.
Mhm.
And something started to actually shock me in a way. And it was the contrast with those stylish kids I would take in the street. And then when you go to Shinagawa or Shimbashi,
Mm.
at night you have all those, the parents of those kids probably that are working in an office and are all dressed like the exact same.
Mhm.
So I said, wow, there's such a contrast, like it's interesting. So then I started to build an idea in my head where I say, wow, there's kind of a clash, between the youth and the parents.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not every kids that are stylish, it's not every parents that are salaryman, but in my head, maybe there's something cool to do, like some kind of a contrast between two different style of people.
Right.
So I started to shoot those salarymen in a very different style. It was black and white.
Mhm.
Somehow in my head I said, those people, they want to fit into the mold, that the society wants.
Right.
Maybe. So they all look the same, so I didn't want to give them a face. That was my thing, I didn't want to give them an identity. So that's why I started to shoot very blurry,
Mhm.
so like a slow shutter. So then in the pictures you would have that feeling of, just kind of ghost, you
Okay.
know.
So is that like, it's obviously easy to see your picture, but like, it's not really about the portraits of the
Mhm.
salaryman.
No,
No, it's like you're capturing the movement
yeah,
of the people walking, or
yeah, exactly. So,
okay.
as I said, I'm a shy person, and
Mhm.
there are a few things that scares me in life. It's like movement of crowds. So when I think it was Shinagawa, I had to go there because there's the immigrant office,
Mm.
like for papers. And there's this huge corridor out of the metro station. And it was an insane crowd of non-stop people. And most of them were salarymen.
Right.
And in Japan, like nobody steps on your toes. So like I wasn't, feeling afraid or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I was feeling kind of, like this thing, like following the pack. Like, not a sheep, but something that follows everyone. And there was this image in my head. It's like, wow, that's such an interesting
Mm-hmm.
movement. So, yeah, there's the portraits of the kids who are very genuine portraits.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the parents, let's say, where it's just like a flow of people.
Yeah.
So, and since I shoot a slow shutter, you have the light that's really following weird stuff. So I started to shoot that quite late in my trip, like the second part.
When? Because you moved to the Tokyo when you
2016.
were 2016.
Yeah,
and then at that time you actually start the photography.
Yeah.
So before that you didn't do photography.
I shot photography, but really as a hobby.
Okay.
And, a way of having fun, you know, with friends at the time, or just street photography.
Okay, but like, what I want to know was, like, when you were university student or high school student, you didn't really care about photography at the time.
So I always loved photography.
Okay.
My grandfather used to take pictures. My brother always took pictures.
Okay.
So I was surrounded by people taking pictures, and also I did like consume a lot of photography. But somehow, you know, I felt, I love photography, but you know, I'm not a creative, so I'm not sure I'm gonna be good at it. So for a lot of years, I think I didn't even try to take pictures like, for my childhood. And it's only when I started to be maybe 16 that I said, okay, maybe I want to try, and then it was best decision ever. But yeah, I've always consumed a lot of photography, and especially Japanese photography when I was younger. Like I love Daido Moriyama, which you can a bit feel, I guess, in my style too. It's like those black and white, very contrasty pictures. So yeah, I always loved photography, but only very late in my life I started to actually do it. And it's only recently, so at the end of my Japan trip, pretty much, when my visa was over, and I said I actually want to pursue photography as maybe, you know, like a professional career.
Your full-time job.
Yes, full-time job. So I knew it wouldn't be easy, obviously, because it's not easy making money with that career, especially with the kind of, you know, pictures I was shooting.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fortunately, you know, I did have a career before, and I have a big network, you know, of friends and, you know, people I know. So I do freelancing in advertising. Okay. So that's how I get money. And what's good about freelancing is that you get paid more, and you can choose when you want to go away. So basically, for the past 2 years now, I've maybe done advertising for 7-8 months a year, and then the rest I just do pictures.
Cool.
So that's the thing. And now I'm back to try to finish that project. Rejection a lot, which made me confident more and more every time. But basically it was always like this, you know, I see someone in the street, I approach them, or I don't touch them, whatever. It's like I say, oh, sumimasen, shashi no totemo ii desu ka? If they look surprised, I would say, I like your style.
Yeah, you need to explain, right?
Yeah,
but
like
people here in Japan, they only speak Japanese, right?
Well, I was so you know, when I started, you know, it was really awkward because I would say good fashion or whatever. At the end of my trip,
in English, right?
Yes, in English,
right? And then people don't understand it, I think.
Yeah, but I think there are you know, they could see the cameras. Okay. They could see I wasn't looking dangerous, I think, or whatever. So they were okay. And I think, you know, after 6 months, I also started to speak more Japanese. Okay. Even though I learned, you know, in the streets. But by the maybe 6 months, I started to speak Japanese, very broken. And the 3 last months, I could, you know, have basic conversation with them. So I always knew, you know, if they were surprised, I would say, you know, cool fashion, or I like your style, your face is cool, like whatever. And it worked nicely. So yeah, that style of shooting with the people, it's really, you know, gentle approach. And just say, you know, you basically compliment them. You know, it's like
true,
your fashion is cool. Sometimes it would be if the makeup was fun or like the hair was crazy. I would do like more close-up portraits. And they always felt, you know, happy. So also during the year, maybe as a way of showing them it was legit, you know, I would always ask for their Instagram or whatever. And then I would send them the picture. I'm not doing this year though. but also, you know, they were happy, and usually they would repost the picture.
Sure.
So it wasn't just me, you know, a stranger taking picture in the street and then go.
Yeah.
I would, you know, give them
Of course.
the picture.
Yep.
And, you know, that was okay. I'm doing less this time because I'm shooting way less portraits. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
exactly
but
why.
I feels like one thing that I wanted to point it out was, I think through the process of, you know, approaching to the strangers on the street and people doesn't speak English. So, but at the same time, you're doing the photography, but at the same time, what I want to say is you actually, you know, growing yourself as a human being too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, every time when you approach, you always have a fear. Maybe
Yeah.
get rejection from them. But, you know, every time you try, you speak Japanese too. And that's one, like, trying things.
Yeah.
Right? And also at the same time, every time when they say yes, it's overcome. Inside of you is overcoming your fear too. So it's also
Yeah.
like at the same time growing yourself.
Yeah, and funnily enough, so and that's really a side story. But so, you know, all my life I was a shy person. So, you know,
True.
finding girlfriends, you know, was not easy because I would be afraid of speaking to girls, etc. And just before the trip, you know, I knew I was going away to Japan, and so already inside, you know, I was feeling like relieved, happy, like changing something. So I did meet a girl before
Okay.
going, and you know, like it was, you know, like the girl that you think you cannot reach because she's like beautiful and cool, etc. But somehow, you know, it's like, I'm going to Japan, I don't care, you know, I'm gonna speak to her.
Yeah.
So I did, and we kept in touch when I was going like away. So when I came back, you know, overcoming all my fears of, I'm still a shy guy in general, but way less so than before.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we became a couple, like exactly when I came back.
Cool.
So like during the year, yeah, speaking to all those people, meeting all the like the fashion people, etc. Like also made me, you know, become a way better photographer, but also a more life-ready
Right.
person.
So you can say like photography actually really relates
Yeah.
your life too.
Oh yeah, for
Right?
sure.
Yeah, I think it's obviously I always shoot the strangers on the street too.
So because you know, my excuse to go see someone and take a picture is the fashion usually. It's like, what do you, because all those people seems to have very different, you know, personalities and characters.
Thank you for asking though. I really like the documentary or journalism approach to the photography.
Okay.
I don't really looking for the people who have a nice style or fashions. I always want to have capture somehow their personality or, you know, their insight. And my approach to the photography is also like knowing myself too. By doing the continuing photography, it's always helped me to understand myself too. So that's why I always shoot the strangers on the street, but at the same time I feels like my picture is always showing myself too. It's reflecting myself.
Yeah.
So I'm still on the process of figuring out what is my photography or what meaning.
Yeah, I can tell you're a very curious man.
Yeah. What kind of meaning path I have through the photography, but I really enjoy those process. So I just, whenever I grab my camera, I just got the energy. And I don't say like I'm a shy guy, or maybe I'm shy, but somehow I approach to the like over 3,000 people, or I don't know. I do a lot, so
Yeah.
I don't have a fear to you know, talking to the strangers. But
So
every
do
time.
you engage in like in a conversation with them? Or?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I
Because
always
me that's not my case. I would just basically say, oh, you know, you look cool. I would take the picture. Sometimes, you know, if I felt the person was like wanting to talk to me,
Yeah.
or I wanted to talk to them more, then I would ask other questions like,
Yeah.
what do you do, etc. But I would say maybe 75% of the time I would just, say, hey, cool, take a picture and
done.
then say thank you.
Okay.
And that would be it.
Mm.
So you obviously...
Yeah, that's good to know.
Because I saw on Instagram, like, you write stories sometimes.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Because for me, like, photography is actually the second thing, I think. The first thing is I always have a curiosity to those people.
Yeah.
So I always want to know about their stories. That's why I have this opportunity too, because I want to know about the people, what they are thinking about, and what they, go through their life. So yeah, I always try to have a chat with them, and then I ask them the portrait. So
because you do speak. If I was speaking Japanese, maybe I would have engaged in more conversations.
Right.
But it's so difficult that
I
wish I could. I wish I did more when I was here. And now, like 2 years after, like my Japanese is gone. I forgot everything, which is not easy. But
I can totally feel you though, because I was also learning photography in Vancouver.
Okay.
So in the school there was only one person who is Japanese.
Okay.
And me and him. And so there were not much opportunity to talk Japanese in there. So whenever I approach to the strangers on the street, people doesn't speak Japanese. But it's good. I knew I wanted to brush up my English too.
Yeah.
So that's always helped.
Yeah, that's how I learned my
talking to
my
the
broken
strangers.
Japanese was talking to those people.
Right? So it's always helped me. Yeah. So one thing I want to know about is you start doing photography with a style of shooting the movement, right? But how did you? Obviously, when I look at your Instagram, you get into more and more portrait, right? And since you were a shy guy, how did you move on to start taking pictures of portrait?
Okay, you mean like fashion editorial? Okay. So back in Montreal.
Right, you're from Montreal.
Yeah, I'm from Montreal. The French accent. Back in Montreal, so I started to see that girl again.
Yeah.
And she's from the fashion industry. She used to be a model, but she's like a stylist.
Beautiful person.
She's also a stylist.
Okay.
And kind of also art director. And
of course, you guys still in relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and now we are actually a creative duo. It's just not like me in Japan. It's me, my solo project, because I started doing it. But when I'm in Montreal, it's like just me. It's me and her. So we are like
doing the same project. Yeah. Cool.
So we are a duo. And so basically, I came back and I said, the fashion was great, and we just started to shoot, like projects. Also something I learned during that year in Japan is, I don't wanna. I love fashion photography, but I do feel that today, when you look at the commercial side of fashion and even magazines, editorial, I feel the storytelling is kind of finished.
Yeah.
It's just pictures. It's like, next. And I've, from what I remember looking at the magazines in the 90s, there used to be kind of a story, that went through those editorials. So I was talking to my girlfriend at that time. I said, I don't want to shoot fashion to shoot fashion. If I shoot fashion, I want to create
the story
like
behind.
a small story,
right.
that goes with it.
Yeah.
So we started to shoot editorials, but with a strong, storytelling
I can
behind.
I can feel.
And it's still a work in progress, and I think the more we shoot and the better we do. But it's like we do want to shoot those stories, and that's what motivated me to start doing those editorials. Because I don't think I wanted to shoot like what I did in Tokyo. I didn't want to do it in Montreal. Like I didn't want to stop the cool looking people of Montreal, because I've done that in Tokyo.
Right.
That's enough. So like if I shot fashion, it had to have a meaning. So we started doing that. And also, if I go back to my Japan things, that shooting those portraits and those movement pictures, I gave a story. I'm trying to give a story also to the portraits. It's like how I perceive, and probably, you know, from a very wrong and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, misinformed, you know, gaijin view.
You mean the stories on the picture, or you mean that you write down the stories?
No, it's like I'm working on those projects, you know, it's to make a book at some point.
Right.
And in this book, you know, I want to, well, tell, I guess, my story too. But like saying, you know, why do I think, you know, the kids dress like that?
Mm.
And this, you know, maybe I'm very wrong. And also, why do all the salarymen dress the same, you know? Because you could wear, you know, like a light blue suit, you know, but usually, no, it's always black suit, white shirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, why are they always dressed the same, you know?
Mm-hmm. From the gaijin perspective.
From the gaijin perspective,
That's
you know,
good.
I'm sure you know that. I'm sure there are codes, and even when you go to schools, you know, you can see the school kids, and they all have the same uniforms. So I'm sure you know there's a uniform that you have to follow.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, from an external point of view, you know, it's striking for you know, foreigners. So even, you know, when I shot those portraits in the street, you know, I was always showing it in a, you know, comparing it to the rest. So it wasn't just portraits, you know, it's gonna be part of something bigger.
Yeah.
I think maybe I sidetracked from your question, but
It's okay.
so no, in Montreal, so I started to do editorials. Making money with that, it's not so easy. It's actually very complicated to make money with fashion editorials. If you find budget with magazines, like, you're lucky. So that's not how we make money. But shooting those then gives you, you know, like a portfolio. And you know, like recently we've been people have been approaching us to shoot, you know, projects or clients or whatever.
Very cool.
So that's how you make money, but still not the best. But you know, it's a start. So that's also why, if you go check my Instagram, you know, recently there's a lot of still lifes, so like flowers, or like sets.
That's beautiful.
Very still lives.
I love it.
Thank you.
You shot with Mamiya Aussie 67.
Yeah. Most of the still lifes are shot with this one. Yeah.
Okay.
And also recently I've started to do still life, which is a very different style of photography. And I actually like it too, because you can make a big story, you know, with just a few elements. So I think, you know, the Japan trip 3 years ago was just the beginning of, you know, what I want to achieve. And storytelling, I guess, would be what my photography is about. And there's also documenting, you know, I guess.
True. Like, as I said at the beginning, why I invite you to have a conversation like this was because of the when I see your work, I feels like your photography is not just a surface understanding of photography. You actually have a style of photography. I can feel you actually have your own way of approaching to the photography. So that's why I was emerging, like, okay, maybe if I can have a conversation with you, there are gonna be a many meaningful like
finding your style.
Meaningful styles and meaningful conversation I can have. So I can totally see your approach to the photography is really relate to yourself. So that's why. So as I said, you know, I started to shoot digitally as a street style photographer, which is a very different. And you know, that's not what I wanted to do. Like, I didn't want to be a street style photographer, like follow the fashion week, etc. That's not what I want to do. But shooting that, it made me realize that, you know, I'm doing this, so I need to shoot like those people. So I started to shoot, you know, like, you know, good pictures. But then when you look at all the street style photographers, you can see, you know, there's kind of a style. And you know, some of them have their own style, obviously. But on the average, you know, it's kind of all the same kind of pictures. You know, which is, I have no issues with that. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of photographers that have the same style.
But I didn't feel like it's like
That's
that's
what
not
you
what I
want to
want to
do.
do.
Right.
That's if I shoot stuff, I want it to be my style.
Yeah.
So shooting analog makes you slow, like by nature of it. And I feel when you have this big camera in your hands and like every click is like $3, you think much more.
Yeah.
So you say, okay, I have this beautiful person in front of me, or very interesting person. I need to
That you
think
select.
right?
Right?
That you select. So I need to have a cool background that's gonna contrast
True.
with the look. I need to find an angle that's gonna be cool to show the clothes, for the hair, like if she has like whatever for the face. So I started to try to just, even though like I shot a lot of the same thing too,
Mm-hmm.
but at least I started to have my own approach,
Right.
how I was wanted to shoot it.
Yeah. I have one question.
Uh-huh.
I want you to describe your words. What's the difference between the using digital and film? Like
Okay.
the approaching way. What's the difference?
So
in
it's
there?
really the process.
Yeah.
Like, and why I don't shoot digital anymore today, it's really because when I shoot with those cameras, like I'm the one controlling everything.
Very true.
When you have digital, like you focus, well, you don't focus actually, you click and it focuses for you. Usually you put your ISO, you can set your ISO, but usually, a lot of people use automatic. They put probably, like a priority for shutter speed or aperture, whatever.
Right.
So also doing those automatic things, make your pictures all look the same thing. When you shoot with a fully manual camera, I mean, you have to take care of
Very much.
all the
yeah.
portion of the light. And it makes you slow, it makes you think, and it also makes you understand better, the light, usually. So you say, when I started, obviously it was complicated, because I just started to shoot, like, seriously with an analog camera.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes my light was not the best. But after 6 months, like you feel, you can feel the light, you feel what you need to do.
Right.
Well, then if you're rich, you buy a light meter, so it helps you. But I didn't have one, back in the days. So it was really, about, feeling the vibe.
Yeah.
And
How did you adjust though? Just
I use,
guessing.
the camera,
okay.
the iPhone.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
But then it's, you would see, obviously, if like there's a cloud, like oh shit, I need to change my light. But so, you can't forget, when you shoot manual. So, and digital, it just makes you. I don't want to say it makes you lazy, but makes you less thoughtful.
Mm-hmm.
And shooting analog, since you have to control every 10 pictures you take, or 15 or 12, or 35 or 36 or 35 millimeters, you are thoughtful for every shot you take.
Very true.
So that's why I'm shooting analog. Like, every picture I take matters. And when I shot the Digital Fashion Week, I would keep all of those 1,000 pictures. I would keep 12. So my ratio, and sometimes less, my ratio, was like 1 out of, not a lot, 1 out of 100,
Yeah.
if you think about it. When I shoot analog, my ratio is almost 50%. Because,
So if you shot 10,
yeah, like
you
you're
have
gonna
a
keep 5.
like yeah. Okay.
So at least, why? Because you were thoughtful for every pictures.
Yep.
And, after a lot of shooting, when you click the shutter, it's like, if your shot is good.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think it's good, you go to the next one. If you think you missed it, then I shoot another one.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be, I feel, even though I don't see the pictures, I feel somehow more in control when I'm shooting analog, because I know when I shot what exactly what I had, in my mind.
Right.
When you shoot digitally, you don't care. It's like you shoot.
Very
then
true.
you go home and say, I'm gonna select, the good one.
Yeah.
And sometimes oh man, I didn't have it, because you didn't really think.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really the difference. Just like,
Yeah.
shooting analog is just slow
Very slow.
and thoughtful.
Mhm.
So that's why I prefer it.
Yeah.
Even in studio today, it's like, if it's like a paid shoot,
Mm-hmm.
I would take digital shoots. I would show the client. If the client is happy with how it looks, then I would switch to analog. That's how I've been doing. Right now it's been working, so I guess I'll continue doing it so. If one day I have a big page shoot and I have to shoot digital, I guess I would also go medium format, because I'm not sure I'm able actually. I like shooting 35, but somehow I feel too constrained.
Yeah.
So at least, if I have a digital medium format, it's it's not that much bigger, but because it's 645 usually.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the difference between digital and analog. It's really just about the speed and the thought process.
Yeah. Okay, so what inspired you?
What inspired me?
Yeah.
So when those editorials that you might have seen on my account, usually I do like photography, but one of my other passion is cinema, and I'm extremely inspired by cinema.
Right.
And a lot of my editorials are inspired by movies.
You were in 7 years spending advertising industry.
Yeah. This is not inspiring to me.
Okay. But at least in there,
Yeah.
during that time, you see a lot of photographer and film maker, no?
Well, I would, yes. When you have a commercial to shoot, you would be in contact with directors, sometimes photographers if it's like a still campaign. But those people were selling products. They weren't selling a story. They thought they were selling a story maybe. But for me, advertising, yes, there's cool stuff that's done, but it's mostly post-production. That's cool to see what they do. So advertising has never inspired me in any matter. It's really, most of the time it's gonna be movies, and sometimes a few of my ideas are if I read a book and there's a sentence I like that gives a mood, then I say, oh, I like this sentence, maybe it could be an editorial. So it's really movies, books, sometimes television too. It's a bit more rare, but I would say old movies are the main, old Japanese movie, like Ozu, how you shoot low on the ground. Kurosawa for those huge white things. Then there's the Russian cinema, which is my favorite for inspiration. So Tarkovsky is my biggest inspiration. And also the colors of Tarkovsky, the fire. Even though I haven't shot a fire, but one day it's gonna come. But how you approach fire, for me it's always been, even though it's not, my idea is not about fire, but somehow it did ignite ideas for me. So it's really cinema.
Do you actually want to, in the future, you actually want to move on to the film industry? Yeah,
that's funny because my girlfriend is starting to feel an urge to shoot videos.
You don't shoot right now?
I'm not shooting. I do have an envy of buying a 8mm movie camera. 16mm, if I knew, it would be a bit cheaper to process. I am intrigued by it, but I do love, I think still pictures can make a good story. It doesn't have to be, a movie.
Recording, yeah.
And if you want to see a movie that's amazing, and it's like a movie made with pictures, it's I don't know the name in English actually, but in French it's La Jetée. Oh fuck, I forgot the name in English. But it's a very famous thing done by a French director a long time ago now.
Wow, everything consists made by
picture. So it's basically a movie, but it's not animated. It's just pictures with a narrator speaking over it. But it's one of the best movie ever.
Is that how long is that?
It's 20 minutes. You can. I'm sure it's on YouTube. I'll send you the information if you want. But basically, also that movie, it's like, wow, you can have still life, still pictures, and actually have an incredible movie. The movie was the inspiration for 12 Monkeys. I don't know if you've seen that.
No.
It's a story about the future anyway, but it's a super cool movie. So maybe I will I would like to try moving things,
Mhm.
but right now I don't feel I've done enough with just pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So one day where I will feel that, you know, I've reached a level in pictures that's
Yep.
good enough, maybe I would try.
What point though? Like, what gonna makes you feel like you satisfy your photography?
So, you know, I say that, you know, storytelling is really at the core of my pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel right now it's enough.
Mm-hmm.
So when I will feel it's enough, I don't know
Yeah,
when
yeah, yeah.
that's gonna be. But I don't feel, you know, I feel I could be, you know, there's still a
Right.
mountain to climb.
Right.
And, you know, it's, you climb that mountain, but just by shooting more.
Mm-hmm.
But when that will be, I
You don't know.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But at least every single time you shoot, right now you feel like you're actually getting better and better
Mhm.
every time.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
how
you.
how people can, you know, find your work though?
I have 2 websites. I have my solo website and my duo website. So I can send you the links. But I think, you know, Instagram today, as a photographer, you kind of have to
Mhm.
have an account
Yeah.
and select, you know, the
What is your username though?
It's complicated. It's comme des bâtards.
Ooh, the spell.
COMMEDESBATARDS.
People, please check out.
And yeah, the duo one is JG+SHI. So
Mm.
it's JG+SHI. So yeah, that's and the websites are basically the same thing but .com.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Very cool. Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you for hosting me.
Yeah.